Morning everyone, you're joining me on my journey to pick up my new car today. As you've probably seen in the video title, this is an Audi RS4 B7 Avant. This has been a dream car for me ever since it was launched in 2005. I've been wanting to own one of these things, and today is the day I'm picking one up. It feels a bit surreal, so join me on the journey to go and collect it. Here she is. B7 RS4, what a beast. Sorry about the rather terrible location to be doing this, but just finished the sale process on a motorway service station. It's raining, it's getting dark, I just want to get in and drive it, but I wanted to show you around it quickly. Hopefully you can still hear me. Daytona grey. It looks filthy, look at it. And it is also a little bit dirty as well. Yes. This one's got a couple of choice little upgrades on it. It's got a rear diffuser in there, if you can see. Really sets off the rear end. Look at the haunches. Let's have a look inside. Wingback seats, check. Flat bottom steering wheel, check. Good condition, check. Carbon trim, check. This thing is a weapon. Right, let's start this thing up. Push button start. Yes, listen to that. Right, don't want the radio. Lights on. Right, it's getting dark, so hopefully you can still see me a bit. I've driven it, test driven it, now we're off to head home. Let's get this thing going. Don't worry, she's warm. Sounds amazing. This is quite a special moment, actually. Like, I've never actually driven one of these things until this moment of purchasing one. So I've put my faith in everything I've seen online, in people reviewing it, on TV reviews that I've seen. Everyone said this car is incredible, and I've taken the punt and bought one without ever actually basically test driving it, apart from coming up to buy it. And it's, from what I've experienced so far, yeah, it's a special car. Really special car. This one's got a standard exhaust, apart from the fact it's had the resonators removed, so it's got a really good soundtrack. They've got a valve. This has got a valved exhaust system, and this one's got it's had a slight mod to it, which means the valves are open the whole time, so it will sound good all the way through its rev range. Whereas a standard one, I think they open at about 3,000. The butterfly valves in the exhaust, which would then make it sort of loud. Whereas this one does all the way through. I'm steaming up a bit. I've turned off the fan because otherwise you guys probably won't be able to hear me because it blows right by the microphone. Yeah, initial impressions. This is a special thing. Seats feel incredible. Steering wheel is the same steering wheel that you get, or you got, in a Lamborghini Gallardo of the same vintage. It's got 8-piston front brakes from a Lamborghini Gallardo. It's got the same engine that an Audi R8's got, 4.2, well, the original Audi R8, V8, 4.2. 414 horsepower. Not always making that. These engines haven't got the they've got a habit of coking up, and I think even from factory they weren't making the claimed horsepower, so it's probably more like 400. This one's had a carbon clean not that long ago, so it does feel pretty strong. Yeah, just I'm a bit lost for words really to start with, because I can't quite believe this is going to be my car. Epic. not going to be the most exciting drive back. It's basically all going to be motorways, so I think it will probably end up being a let's see what sort of MPG you can get out of it to start with. Not the initial, not a performance car drive home really. It's not best suited for that necessarily, but got to get it home somehow. So why an Audi RS4 estate? Well, this has been one of my hero cars really. From the very first time I saw it on TV, the Top Gear review with Jeremy Clarkson doing that race against a climber going up the side of a cliff in France. It's been on my radar ever since then, like as a car that really is not just about straight line performance, but also it's got the handling to back it up. Because Audi's up until that point had a sort of reputation of not being the greatest in the handling department, whereas this sort of changed that for Audi really, put them on the map as an M3 equivalent, which they hadn't been up until that point really, for a driver anyway. It appreciates like a nice handling car as well as a fast car. And then in 2006, went to the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and they had the Audi out there, Audi R8 on their stand, and that was a showstopper of a car. Like the design of that car really was like something else. No one had really seen anything from Audi like that before, and that was obviously the one. That was the one that was drawing all the attention on the stand. But just behind it was this car. And in the estate form, because the estate actually came out a year after the Saloon was launched in the UK. So it was a 2006 launch, and they had this car on the stand as well. And both those cars, the R8 and the RS4, shared the same engine, 4.2 litre V8, 414 horsepower. And I just thought, that is, what a car. Like, you can transport your friends, your luggage, your dog, your family around in something with a lot of luxury. But at the same time, it's got the performance of their effectively their supercar at the time, which was, I just thought that was epic. And from that point on, I just had it in the back of my head. One day you've got to own that car. Well, today is that day, and I'm driving it home, which doesn't quite feel real yet, but here it is. Yeah, I can't wait to get into the ownership of this. This is going to be one hell of a car. Now this one, it's not perfect by any means. As most of them won't be out there at the moment, at this age basically. They're all sort of 2006, 2007 age. But this one ticked a lot of boxes. It's in extremely good condition inside. The mechanical condition is pretty good. It's got a very good service history. It's been well cared for over its ownership. Like the different owners it's had have really looked after it. The previous owner, to me, he's looked after it, and he was extremely forthcoming in the sale process. He answered all my questions. He wasn't trying to hide anything. He very kindly actually shared an Audi health check that this car had in the beginning of November when it got an oil change. They went through it with a fine-tooth comb and basically put together a list of everything that the Audi main dealer thought needed replacing. A lot of it obviously is Audi main dealer pricing, and it was a 6k bill that they presented Jordan with, which he didn't have to share that to me, to be honest, and I'm very grateful that he did, because that was the sort of the check that I needed to be sure it was the car that it looked like it was on paper, because a 6k bill would scare most people off, to be honest. But what I did with that was, at the recommendation of my mate Ash, was give an Audi specialist a call down south, who he thoroughly recommended, and they know RS4s inside and out. And I went through it with the Audi specialist, and he dismissed a lot of the stuff, saying no, you won't need to do this will just replace that, and it brought the 6k bill down to a 1.5k bill, and not all of that is due immediately either. There's a couple of bits which I've got booked in to do next week, but there's stuff on there that doesn't need to be done, that can probably be done within the next 6 months, which is what I'll do. Not going to not do the maintenance, but at the same time it doesn't need to be done immediately. So it suddenly made the car again more appealing. Initially 6k, but it brought it back to back on the cards, and we agreed a price that was fair considering the work that was required. So it made it a purchase that I felt was the right thing to do, because there are quite a few out there which were cheaper than this with more miles, but some of these things you don't know what you're getting into, and the fact that this had a health check within the same month that I've purchased it was sort of the going over that I would have wanted to have anyway, with any car. So the fact that I saw that really did sort of confirm to me that it was a car that I can trust with its mechanical condition. Obviously there will be stuff that will go wrong in the future. I'm not naive thinking that this is going to be a trouble-free car. This will be a car that's going to need to have money spent on it over my ownership to keep it in good nick. It's done 85 or 86,000 miles. 86,000 miles. The interior's in extremely good condition considering the mileage. Some of them, that's the same sort of mileage, are looking pretty ropey inside, which is a shame because the interiors are really nice and they're quite a special thing to be in. Yeah, I can't wait to get this thing out on the road and really experience what an RS4 is all about. And I can't wait to bring you guys along with me, because it's going to be a journey. There's going to be some ups and downs, I'm sure, but that's part of the process, isn't it? So it's getting pretty gloomy. I'm not sure how this is going to be coming out on camera. And as I say, it's basically going to be entirely motorway home. So I don't think there's much to be watching me drive this thing home, apart from the fact that I'm just going to be grinning all the way back, even though I'll be doing 70 miles an hour, trying to see what MPG it can do. Not great, I'm sure. But I'm going to give you guys a full walk around tomorrow when there's a bit more light and it's hopefully not raining. So I will see you tomorrow.